Thanks for inviting us in at 6 o'clock, and we begin tonight with a full day of jury deliberations in the Delphi murders trial.
Those jurors are now back at their hotel after spending hours today trying to decide if indeed Richard Allen is the man who killed the teens Abby Williams and Libby German back in 2017. Let's get right out to our senior investigative reporter Bob Segall and Emily Longnecker joining us live. Hi, guys.
Hi,
Hello.
Ann and Scott. Yeah, it was a long day of deliberations. The jury got here at 9 a.m. and we basically waited.
It's just at this point, everyone out here on the sidewalk waiting all afternoon.
Yeah, they left just before 4, and it's really hard to tell at this point where their heads are at, if they have any questions about evidence. That's because we're not allowed in the courtroom at this point if they have any of those questions. Richard Allen is, though, he has the option to be present if the jury ends up having some kind of questions about evidence. His attorneys and the state can also be there. Richard Allen, though, we know was not here today at the Carroll County Courthouse. He is staying in the Cass County Jail. That's about a 25-minute drive away. So if the jury has a question and Allen wants to be there for that question, he can be here, and it would take some time to get him here. The jury, they have a lot to consider. 17 days of testimony, closing arguments yesterday, 387 pieces of evidence, and 64 witnesses who testified. So, Bob, we were just talking, it's probably not a big surprise, maybe, that we didn't have a verdict today.
No, it's really no surprise at all. We know that these are extremely complex issues that the jury is dealing with, including some contradictory testimony from expert witnesses that they've got to figure out which of the witnesses to believe. And this afternoon, we had a chance to talk to our 13 News legal analyst, Katie Jackson-Lindsay, and we asked her, what should we make of the fact that the jury has now been deliberating for 9 hours with no verdict?
Much of it. First of all, every jury is different. Every jury is made up of different people, and so it's really hard to make any assumptions one way or the other about how long they're taking. As trial lawyers, we often have superstitions about what a short verdict means or what a long verdict means, but having done this for 16 years on both sides, having done nearly 100 juries and about half and half on each side, I can tell you that there's never any rhyme or reason, and you cannot put any hard and fast rules on how long deliberations are taking.
The jury is scheduled to resume their deliberations tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. If they do not come up with a verdict by late in the afternoon, they have Sunday off, so that means that the earliest then at that point that we might get a verdict would be on Monday. We're live in Delphi, back to the studio.
All right, Bob Segall and Emily Longnecker in Carroll County. Thanks so much. So the Delphi community really is preparing to welcome a verdict in what could be the final hours of this case.
It has been 7.5 years since the girls were killed.
Tonight, our Samantha Johnson shows us how the town of Delphi is still honoring the girls.
Well, Scott and Anne Marie, we have heard for weeks now people saying no matter what happens, they are just praying for peace, not only for the victims' families, but for this entire community. And as we inch closer to what could be the final hours of this case, one thing stands out here in downtown Delphi. You look around the square, there's a lot of purple and blue. Take a look here. We've known the street lamps here outside the Carroll County Courthouse have been wrapped in blue and purple ribbon for weeks now, representing the favorite colors of Abby Williams and Libby German. But today, we noticed lots of the businesses here in downtown have started painting their windows purple and blue and hanging signs in the windows as well. We've heard so many people tell us they have followed this case from the beginning. For more than 7.5 years now, they wanted to come here and witness what's happening in Carroll County.
I don't even know what to think. I'm just kind of, we're here. You know, it's hard to believe that we're here.
I just pray for closure for everybody. I think that this community has been through a lot in the last 8 years, so yeah.
And these signs you're seeing here now are also new. We've seen a few signs throughout this trial so far, but today I went back and counted. More than 50 homemade signs were put out and really supporting all sides. A lot of them calling for justice for Abby and Libby, others in support of Richard Allen, or maybe criticizing this case and the investigation altogether. So Scott and Anne Marie, like we mentioned, the sun is setting here in Delphi. It's a Friday night, but they will be back in court tomorrow tomorrow. Like Bob mentioned, jurors expected back here tomorrow morning at 9.
All right, the community continues to wait for that verdict. Samantha Johnson tonight in Delphi. We're going to be hearing from our legal expert, Katie Jackson-Lindsay, about today's deliberations. When you join us on tonight's Delphi debrief, it's streaming at 10 tonight over on WTHR Plus. The app is a free download on Apple TV, Fire Stick, and Roku.